5 red lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out, and away we go in Bahrain. Brundle leads, as Panis has already made up some positions. Into turn 1 we go.
I have no idea what's going on.
Panis up to 8th place. No, he's battling with Sagdiev though, but he is up into 8th now. And he's battling already, Falston. I think you can already...
Smith's fallen back.
I think you can already get an idea of what my strategy is, to be fair.
Smith lost 8 to 9 places. Tombay's dropped back a lot as well. Hamilton, Villeneuve, PK, Alonso, Panis all charging
Panis has made up 2 positions within 1 corner.
Look at Louis Dupont. He's up to 13th.
But Brundle still leads. I'll go on to this group. Oh, for fucking hell. Villeneuve. I think I'm already getting an idea of what's going on here. Yeah, I might have fucked this.
PK passes Bilic to 9th.
Oh, Anyway, so Brundle still leads.
Has lost 3 places so far this lap. It's all going wrong for the man second in the championship. Norris, the championship leaders, down in 17th.
It's Brundle still leads. Nearly 3 seconds ahead now of Lee on the super softs, though, of course. So he won't last very long. And it's Ricciardo, Locatelli, Williams, Falston, Panis, Sagdiev, PK, and Hamilton to round out the top 10.
Lap 3 about to start. Here comes the DRS train.
Oh, God. Everyone's basically fighting each other on the circuit.
Ricciardo,
oh, dear. A load of people, a load of the AIs. Yeah, a load of AIs are using boost now. Ricciardo's still in 3rd, by the way, without anyone managing.
McLaren's a very good car, so it doesn't surprise me.
And it's also on the optimum push level, I think, for this track.
Hamilton passes PK. PK is down to 10th.
Pan is still battling with Falston, but there's already a gap forming here between Locatelli and Williams wants to close that gap because he doesn't want to lose DRS. But that is some wasted boost. And Panis has, thanks to that train, managed to catch up to Falston, and he's passed, and now he's on the back of Locatelli on lap 4 of 57 here in Bahrain.
Norris is back up to 13th. Smith 14th.
Ricciardo up to 2nd now because of Lee, because they're close together and trading DRS. But 4-second gap now for Brundle.
Dupont's dropped all the way back down to 19th. But he's on mediums. He might be 2-stopping. Probably is. Well, actually, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Another race and another occasion where PK is ahead of the team leader, Alonso, and 3 times world champion. That's not gone well for Subaru there. Now they've been passed.
It is worth mentioning PK is lighter than Alonso.
I'm going to have to wonder how light you guys are. I don't know. I've played it maybe just a bit too conservative. Sorry, a bit too aggressive, actually. I don't know yet.
You've gone for the strategy that Alonso used in season 6 and 7.
Not quite.
With hitting on lap 12.
Not quite.
PK passes.
I mean, it's close to that, but it's not quite that, because I knew if I just went long, I had no chance. Especially with the qualifying.
Didn't work. The overcut at Bahrain is pretty king. So we will see as Locatelli is passed by Panis. So Panis up to 4th from 12th on the grid.
And he's going to be on the back of 3rd place now as well, so that's going to be good.
Repasses PK. The battle for 9th is just a swapperoo every lap. And Alonso's now having a go at his younger teammate. And Alonso's up into the points. PK drops out and down to 11th.
Why does it use DRS there? It's a bit odd. Still on 100% for Villeneuve though. Luckily.
Field relatively together apart from the debutant Aiden Lee. He's replaced Ismail at Outrage. Ricciardo's actually got out of DRS of Lee, so that's quite impressive. As Locatelli loses positions.
See if Panis can now catch up to Ricciardo.
Yeah, Alonso is after Hamilton. It's turn 4. doesn't make the move, and Sagdiev is up to 6th now. His teammate Smith, who had a poor start, back up to 13th, and Norris is dropping back. But none of the top 2 in the championship are in the points, as Alonso passes Hamilton.
Panis hasn't been able to catch Ricciardo quite. He's just a bit, but he's actually just about in DRS.
Ricciardo is actually the only person in the top 4 in the championship who's currently in the points.
And Panis passed Ricciardo now, and now they can work together. Although I think Panis is going to drop away from Ricciardo.
Huge number of overtakes just there. Williams losing out to Sagdiev and Locatelli. Faustin being passed by Alonso. Now Alonso has a look and he passes Callum Williams. Alonso's up to 7th. Alonso's made a lot of overtakes in the non-DRS zone. He's always been good at that, and he's continuing it today.
Panis has pulled away from Ricciardo quite significantly now, so there's going to be no DRS for a long while for a few people here.
Austin's passed Williams as well, so Subaru 2-4 on the grid, now 4-9, only 8 laps in. And 4-10, PK's passed Williams. It's not going well for Subaru.
It's what I predicted, if I'm being honest. So Panis now in 2nd, but I think, yeah, I can already see what's happening here. But I've had to do it because the qualifying wasn't as good as I hoped, actually.
There's a train forming behind Lee, quite a big train, as Alonso has a look and passes his old rival Locatelli. So Alonso up to 6th with another overtake and not the DRS zone.
There's a possibility here that, unless Brundle pits now, that Ricciardo's wanting to catch up to Panis, by the way, where the AI is.
Yeah, there's a big train from 4th. There's Sagdiev along. It's all the way down to
And Brundle's now given up the lead, and he's into the pits.
Panis, the man who led so much here last season.
Well, he led up until like lap 40-something before his tyres got cooked. And
yes,
he lost.
Cover line to the win at the last corner on the last lap from Alonso.
So Sagdiev, so the top 10 now on lap 10 of 57. Panis, Ricciardo, Sagdiev, Alonso, Lee, Locatelli, Faustin, PK, Hamilton and Williams. There's quite a few cars battling out for the top 10 though. Villeneuve's now making up positions.
Alonso is struggling to hang on to Sagdiev. Yeah, so he might end up losing DRS. He's really finding it difficult to keep behind that RWB as PK's teammates right in the back of Faustin. And there goes Alonso, who makes the move. I might have accidentally left it on a bit too high a push level, but anyway. So Alonso now needs to try and get in Ricciardo's DRS before the end of the lap to not lose too much time. Ricciardo will be struggling. He hasn't got anyone managing him at the moment. So he will be slower, as Sagdiev is actually coming back on Alonso, and Sagdiev is in 3rd place back. Alonso is not pushing. Trying to cool the tyres down.
So we'll look onto the Alonso group. It's a big group at the moment, and it stretches quite far back actually to at least to Villeneuve, and then Norris just behind Villeneuve. Villeneuve was quite nerfed on that lap, I think, by the way. But yeah,
Sagdiev's trying to keep ahead. He's using boost. That's not a great idea, to be honest, because he would have been tagged along behind in that Ricciardo battle anyway. So interesting move there. Sagdiev to try and stay ahead of Alonso using boost. Let's see if that affects him later on, as they have now caught Ricciardo, and I don't know if they're going to pass him before the DRS, because Ricciardo, well, his sector time is about half a second slower than the rest of them. Guys who are just coming up behind him, so he's not going to be quick. Case dropping back from Faustin now. The DRS train remains, as Sagdiev will pass Daniel Ricciardo to 2nd. Alonso looks to follow him through, can't quite do it. Another lap behind is going to affect him, whether Alonso will just pass him somewhere else. Let's have a look now as they come.
So Alonso has taken Ricciardo there.
Boost or DRS has been made. Team Panis is going to come in this lap or next lap.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, yeah, whatever.
Alonso's actually dropped out of DRS of Sagdiev. Panis into the pits, the race leader. Just hangs on in the DRS. That was very fortunate, but Sagdiyev keeps the lead. Alonso's still pestering him, but he's not through, although he might be. No, he doesn't. He drops back. He loses time. So Sagdiyev keeps the lead.
Brundle's just come out behind Panis.
Panis come out in relation to Brundle. He's ahead.
He's ahead.
So
Sorry,
Brundle
yeah,
went
sorry.
ahead of the
Brundle's come out behind Panis. Is what I meant. So Brundle will get DRS for sure.
I guess actually Davies is in between them. You look.
Oh yeah, it's because on my mobile I can't
Sagdiyev
see the
into
name.
the pit.
Yeah, I
That's
did
left
expect.
Alonso very vulnerable. Alonso's going to lose first and second.
Oh my
Alonso's down
god.
to third.
What's it
Ricciardo
done with the
leads.
fuel here? Why has it put Villeneuve on a really... Whatever.
Try and get back past Lee in this situation. Try and get up into second place, but he's not quite done it. He's not quite quick enough in this situation. He's really pushing Lee. He can't do it. So Ricciardo leads this lap. Now, Faustin's got back up onto the battle for the lead. So I think Faustin could be going quite long, looking to exercise that advantage as PK makes a move to pass Dylan Hamilton for sixth. Hamilton, who has just set the fastest lap. So let's see who goes into the pits. Not Lee. So that's helpful for Alonso as PK in most of the field. Faustin stays out. Will Renault's pit crew fail Alonso again? They did that twice in Malaysia. I guess we'll see. So PK's out the pits. He's just behind Locatelli. He's still well ahead. Alonso's putting in fantastic sector times at the moment in the lead to try and overcut Borat Sagdiyev, who's been overcut by Ricciardo himself, actually. PK's Lee out of fuel already, but no, they were already in the pit, sorry. The PK's trying to keep in DRS of Locatelli in that battle. And another lap, it's DuPont and Williams who've gone on. So that's interesting there. And Alonso comes out well in front of Panis. So now the French alliance, as it is, between Renault and Peugeot might have to try and help Alonso now.
So DuPont on mediums, I actually didn't know that.
I did mention that earlier.
So he's going to be going very low.
Oh, he's slightly underfueled, for God's sake. Well, I guess we'll just make the fuel back for Alonso. Here comes Panis. Will Ricciardo get in as well? No, he doesn't. So Alonso will stick in behind Panis. Now he's got to try and keep in that DRS, or else lose out on, lose out on position.
Villeneuve has been underfueled annoyingly, so I've had to... I can't really do anything about that. It's too much. He's going to have
He was surprisingly off colour. It just somehow ended up ahead of Locatelli, which is intriguing given how far ahead Locatelli was earlier. Alonso, he had to stay in DRS to try and corroborate something. And he's done it, keeping in front of Panis. The longer he can keep with Panis, the better for his race. Well, I mean, who's going to win? Davies and DuPont are the only ones yet to pit, but Davies' tyres must be absolutely gone. So he'll probably be in at the end of this lap. I don't think you can really go any longer. I think Subaru is struggling with temperatures, or Williams is very heavy because Williams is dropping back from Bilic just at the back end of the points. Bilic, the only man other than current leader Norris who can come out of this race in the championship lead. So lap 20, 37 to go. DuPont leads, yet to stop. Brundle leads, he's on an alternate strategy. So the real fight is just behind them. Panis in third, Alonso in fourth. Ricardo fifth, but Ricardo is not got anyone managing him, so he's slightly hampered in that sense. Alonso's now dropped out of DRS of Panis, so he's going to be vulnerable to attack from behind. And let's see, does he get passed by Ricardo and DuPont? DuPont comes out in between Alonso and Ricardo. Faust and Ricardo briefly swap positions, so DuPont is now going to be a liability in this battle for the next lead of the race.
I think it's going to be likely DuPont's going to win this race. It's got very long.
Yes, he's now got to hope that he can hold position ahead of the guys and not drop back too much. He's on softs now. In 37 laps, that's what, 19. I don't think he'll be able to make it on softs again to the end of the race. So I think it's possible that DuPont could be three-stopping. It'd be weird, and I think it's unlikely. He has to be three-stopping, surely. You can't realistically make it anything less. Two stops just wouldn't quite work, I don't think. But we will see how that pans out. Very interesting to see later. Panis does have a lead, but Panis is light, and he'll be liable to the overcut again. This huge snake. Sagdiev's now somehow come out of nowhere and got into fourth place. And here comes Ricardo again using boost to try and make up positions. And there goes Faustin. They're going to close down Panis. This is bad for Panis. Not only is he going to get overcut, but the DRS train is going to catch him up. Villeneuve passes Locatelli up to 12th.
So, lap 23, top 10, Panis, Faustin, Alonso, Sagdiev, Dupont, Ricardo, Lee, Bilic, Williams, and Piquet. And there's the possibility here that no.
Faustin's taken off. Alonso's lost DRS on Faustin. Faustin just so much quicker, but Alonso lucky to stay ahead of DuPont.
It's a good thing that he's got a load of cars behind him. And he wouldn't just
What's
be
going on
passed
with
by a load of
Alonso
people.
then? Alonso was very quick earlier.
Faustin is very quick. He's done a quick lap there. He did a 1:28.8. That's very quick from sorry, not Faustin, from Faustin actually.
Alonso's now going to drop out of DRS of Sagdiev. What is going on here? His pace is evaporated. Piquet suddenly passed two cars on one lap without DRS. Williams out the points now.
Yep.
Alonso
He's losing a load of positions now.
But that is a very odd thing that's happened with Alonso. His pace has just vanished suddenly. Who knows? And now Sagdiev up into second. Could this be RWB's first win since season 3? I think season 3 Japan, the last race that they won, which was a very, very long time ago.
It's Trevor Meinhardt, wasn't it?
2019. Yes, Meinhardt. And although I was praising Piquet for making some overtakes last time, he's now gone and lost 2 positions. So he's back down to 10th. And Villeneuve is up into the points. But I think Villeneuve, like Panis, is very light. And we should expect him in shortly. Alonso is just hanging on to Sagdiev and Faustin, only just. And now Faustin looks to be very near the back of Panis. There's a gap forming, though, in the train between Lee and Ricardo, 6th and 7th, as Villeneuve passes Piquet.
Yep, they're battling. Piquet was past Villeneuve into turn 1, but then Villeneuve has gone back past.
It's all going on at the moment.
Okay, the fuel's corrected itself, luckily. It say 14.5 for some reason. It looks like Faustin's just in DRS.
So Piquet's out the points now.
Yep.
In DRS Faustin. So that's Panis pretty much done for the race then. Faustin does get the lead. Ricardo must have stayed within DRS of Lee because he hasn't been passed by anybody. The real confusion here for me is Locatelli. How has he ended up down in 13th? Because he was doing a very solid, fine job up in the points. Bilic was the one who was down and out, and now it's reversed, and I don't know what's happened to cause that. One lap overcut for Bilic, is that really all it takes? I know the overcut's good at Bahrain, but that's really surprising. Aston passed again by Panis, and Sagdiev goes past as well. Ricardo's been absolutely done by Bilic, Villeneuve, and Smith. So Ricardo's out at 9th now. Piquet's pressuring him. Pont's catching up to the front train as Piquet makes a move on Ricardo. So Ricardo's out the points now. I don't think he'll get back in there. I think McLaren's managerless race has finally run its course.
So Villeneuve battling with Smith now. He's been passed him. Villeneuve making up positions, but he is very light. Oh god.
And
That was
into the
close.
pit. Sagdiev into the pit as well.
I already knew that anyway.
That's surprising.
No, I already knew that.
Here comes McLaren, longer managerless.
It's very close between those two. And just out ahead is one of the aces of, and he's boosting incredibly. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Piquet passes Bilic for P7, which is net somewhere lower than 7th. So anyone into the pits this lap? No. Oh, yes.
Yep,
Piquet left vulnerable. Villeneuve and Smith both bail out. That's Piquet losing 2 positions, almost 3. Ricardo just behind. Alonso set the fastest lap that lap, despite losing the lead to Faustin.
Just about got DRS there, annoyingly. I think Villeneuve has stayed out ahead of a few people here.
Have many terrible events occurred for you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really battling for that anyway, if I'm being honest.
Pushing, that's 2 purple sectors. Surely he's heading into the pits this lap. Surely he's pulled such a huge gap on Alonso. Has he had that in his locker, or is he coming into the pits? Faustin enters the pits, as does Lee. So it's Alonso and Dupont who stay out, and Dupont's going to ruin Alonso's party by taking the lead from him. Alonso's going to have to somehow try and find a way back past Dupont.
There's a load of cars bunched up into turn 1. PK's come out ahead of Villeneuve there.
Dupont's been slightly impaired. He's slightly been impairing Alonso. I don't think he's done it enough to cost Alonso too much time. It does now come into the pit lane, as does Williams. So Dupont stays out, takes the lead. Norris is going very long, so that could be Norris's lack of pace, purely just being heavy. Alonso comes out, he's jumped fast, and he's ahead of Brundle as Piquet's lost a lot of places. It's a race of 2 halves for many teams, really. No one's got their cars particularly close together on the track, only Singapore with both cars really up there.
So Dupont staying out, causing a longer stint, and he's putting in some good times at the moment. Some really good ones as well. You expect it might be a shorter fill if he's going for a free stop.
I can't see how he'll make it on 2, really.
So yeah, it should be really a shorter fill.
Loses a couple of positions, unfortunately for him. PK gains, though, on Liam Smith. So Dupont leads, Brundle, Faustin, Lee, Alonso, Panis, Williams, Sagdiev, Bilic and Nelson Piquet Jr. rounds out the top 10
I
on
mean,
lap
you
30.
can't believe where Locatelli is, really. He shouldn't be down there. That
I don't
is
know how that's happened. I really can't fathom how that's occurred.
one of the Subarus is looking to pull away from
Suddenly caught
Alonso.
right up to the front. I don't know how Faustin's done that. He's just gone and caught up to the back of Brundle. Wasted boost though. But Lee, you trying to catch up to Faustin, doesn't get DRS. Faustin's going after DuPont, so they're going to do DRS train the two Singapore cars, I think, together.
I mean, I'm not too concerned about that.
Tactic, but then if a disconnection at the death happens again, at least the boost's been used.
It'd be really ideal if Villeneuve was up here, if I'm being honest. I mean, I could get him up here, but there's no point. Not really. It's too much. Hopefully Panis can stay within the DRS here of the Subaru of Lee. Hopefully he doesn't try and boost ahead.
I didn't realise that was Panis in fourth. I thought it was Stagdy yet.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it's because I got a bunch of DRS. And he's just about got DRS.
DRS train. Villeneuve's ditched Piquet, so Piquet's just going backwards every lap. But he's probably fueled heavier and has all the boost left. So I think it will still be a points finish.
Unfortunately, first and second of the Singapores are too far ahead at the moment, so it's just going to be trading DRS for a lot of these guys there, and that's kind of ruined Peugeot, if I'm being honest.
I think Singapore have realised that Alonso's got a couple of laps on Faustin on the overcut. They need to pull a gap. It's vital, really, for them.
Yeah, I'm going to get absolutely scythed here.
So when is DuPont going to be hitting?
Oh, Villeneuve's got no DRS. Wonderful.
DuPont's made a second stop. I completely missed that.
That's annoying.
I missed DuPont's second stop. DuPont's got a massive lead. He's surely going to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, I already said that. I said it would be a shorter field, so clearly that's why it's worked. He's clearly going for a free stop.
He's not doing 24 laps on soft to the end.
Yeah, I mean, also that he would have been behind anyway. So if he had done a really long fuel,
definitely got this. But we did say that in Malaysia, didn't we? That didn't quite.
But there is no one to boost really incredibly except from you, I guess. But I mean,
passed by
they've got a big gap anyway.
And that's PK down to 12th.
Unfortunately, there's just going to be a load of trading DRS here from the Panis group down, because they can't get close to the Singapores now. The information coming up with Brown running out of fuel. You can pretty much forget outrage in nearly all these races.
Yeah, at the moment, the smoky rubber for Salty Singapore looks like he's got a very secure win. Will it necessarily be a 1-2? I am not sure. It looks like a secure victory, at least for Louis Dupont, which will be his second in his career for Dupont. Last one was Turkey in season 7, or the only one.
What was his first podium? Was it season 5 or something like that?
I don't know. Dupont, I don't know. I don't think Dupont actually got a podium until late in season 7, despite making his debut.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Early season 6, and he's only got something.
But I actually know, because I thought like didn't they win a Valencia race, Singapore? I'm pretty sure it was a 1-2 or something.
Faustin won last season, but Panis was second.
Yeah, I know.
Dupont has only got something like five podiums, maybe 6. He's really been very lackluster, given the potential it looked like he had.
But it's now showing. He's on a great strategy.
Yes, now he's taking over the mantle as team leader, it seems, because Faustin's been beaten in both races so far.
Villeneuve struggling heavily now, really, because he's lost a load of DRS partners, and he's only got one of the McLarens now, and that's not going to work.
Villeneuve is
I don't actually know how that's happened. I don't know why everyone shooted off away from Villeneuve.
Lack of experience, maybe. Who knows?
I know, but it was very close, and now he's with, I don't know if it's Ricciardo or Norris. I'm going to guess it's Ricciardo.
It's Ricciardo. Norris is nowhere.
It'd be really good if Panis could get away from Finney. I mean, it won't do too much, but
he's just going to get brought back up again.
There's nothing really he can do. It's not too bad, but it's not great. Villeneuve, on the other hand, not great at the moment. We've still focused on this Piquet back. We should probably move to Alonso and Subarus.
Yes, the battle for the lead is just going to be Tottenham and Falcon swapping places every lap to just maximise their speed, like basically drafting with your teammate in the Indy 500. That's essentially what they're doing at the moment. And this time they've got a back marker to DRS pass. That's going to help them even more. There goes Sagdiev trying to make a move on Williams, but he doesn't quite do it. Panis does get back up into third. So that's something for Peugeot to smile about at the moment before things start to unwind.
It's more closer now, and that's because of the tyres. Especially around the track like Bahrain, so I can't really get away from Lee. There's always just enough gap to stay ahead of Alonso, but there's no chance of getting away from Lee.
Two lead field today because Aiden Lee is also making his debut.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. I thought it was round 5 or something.
He's
That
in
he was going to make it.
So it's not going so well for Aiden Lee, but Thomas Lee is third. He's never been on the podium. Will today be the first time?
So, not much of a gap extending here between the Singapores to everyone else, but it's still a solid gap.
Singapore cars, they should have won both races so far. They haven't on account of connection problems. That might end up being a blessing later in the season because if they're this dominant, then
cannot lose DRS.
That's not good.
I cannot lose DRS at all, at any cost.
Sagdiev's pitted. Sagdiev in the pits. So Sagdiev may end up quite far down the order here because lots of drivers are going to be going much longer than him.
Okay, that's the right fuel load. Yeah, that was a bit weird actually because Panis didn't end up coming out ahead of Sagdiev.
That's bad news for Alonso is that he's been held up massively by the back marker outrage car and lost quite a lot of time on Lee in front. He might end up out of the DRS range now. He almost certainly will. But Lee's not going to have DRS himself because of... Oh no, Alonso still keeps it actually. That's very lucky. And many cars into the pits. When's Falston coming? I assume this lap. Maybe next lap. We will see. But the overcut is powerful at Bahrain. We know that. But Falston DuPont, they've just been doing very good DRS game.
If I can stay with Hamilton here, unless he pits, then I can get some DRS here. I mean, it would be a decent
Hamilton
thing,
has only stopped twice so far, but he hasn't yet. Falston in the pits this lap, so that's what I said. And in goes Lee as well. So, interesting time.
Lee comes out ahead of Panis, but it's going to be close, and they're going to be fine until the end, I'm going to guess. They're on similar tyres, so they should be fine. But hopefully they can keep getting some DRS. That'll be good for them. Villeneuve in no man's land really. I mean, he's been hounded by Locatelli, who's not been good all race. He's behind the McLaren at the moment. Although I think that one is going to pit, of course.
12 laps to the end.
And that is Norris, so yeah, definitely.
DuPont pits.
That must have been a
relatively short stint, not maximising what they could have. And Alonso stays out. So Alonso's now going to gain time. DuPont's massively in front of Faustin. So that's not gone well for Faustin. They've lost the DRS and they can't...
Panis has done okay, actually, because he's now in 5th. But it kind of depends on boost now, really. But there should be points, at least.
The thing I hadn't actually noticed is that both DuPont and Faustin have used most of their boost.
Oh, so yeah. Singapore have been doing that a lot recently.
Alonso.
They've had to do that a lot recently to keep him within battles. Especially last season where they had a poor car at the first few races.
Where does Alonso exit the pits? How close is he to the Singapore cars? He's much closer than he was. That's the only way to say. That's the only real thing. He's close up. And there goes Faustin going after his teammate with the boost to try and use DRS to their advantage.
Lee and Panis have similar boost levels, I think marginally more just for Lee. But Williams has pitted and he's ahead of that group, so there's going to be some good points here for Subaru. Panis has done alright though, considering the strategy he's on. It kind of depends on really the final few laps now if he gets a good amount of
How
points.
has Locatelli ended up in the position he has? That is the real mystery. Locatelli in 13th place.
Well, actually, I've just
That was
realised now. Oh my Jesus Christ! Lee lost a big gap to Panis there, but now this group is closing on Williams, so the fourth place is still up for grabs for a lot of these drivers now. But Panis has put himself into good position here, so it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. That really short first stint was quite important. He was something like 4 seconds ahead of a lot of that DRS group. And he's got very
both the Singapore cars going to get DRS on the back mark again. That's absolutely killer for Alonso.
Crucial here is what is Lee, Panis, and Bilic need to close on Williams here, really. Okay, and Villeneuve's just got DRS there, and he's in 11th now, but I don't expect any points. That'll be a battle for 11th place. Okay, tyre temps are just again a bit worse now. Not too awful though. Not like last season.
DRS is about 7/10 a lap in terms of pace advantage.
And Lee's going to be passed by both the Jaguar and the Peugeot, and that if Bilic can get in front here, he can close on Williams, and this will be good because he's got better DRS, of course.
Other back markers. Lee on his debut has cost Alonso a huge amount of time there.
So it looks like it's going to be Singapore win, but Alonso is closing. But he's going to have to work against two drivers here, and he's going to have to use some boost. But of course, Singapore don't have much. Okay, Panis has not done well there, if I'm being honest.
Something which was very helpful for Renault last season in their battle against Peugeot at this race, where they ended up winning, was the fact that Alonso and Kovalainen were together in the last stint. But Alonso does not have that luxury. He doesn't have anyone with him to work.
I just need Villeneuve and Locatelli can fight for a point here because they're using DRS to get up to Smith, so they might close in on him, but it's not very close at the moment. It'll be important here if Bilic can stream ahead of Panis. If he can get out of his DRS, I mean, it won't be much of a blessing, but he hasn't, so Panis will have DRS, so they'll continue to catch Williams. But it's not really working at the moment.
Using boost does massively compromise the tyre temperature, though.
Okay, it's similar boost levels now for the leaders, DuPont, Faustin, and Alonso. They're all on pretty similar boost levels now.
Alonso has the least, but Alonso's boost is a higher level.
One higher level.
That's not
AI is going to be pretty important. Sorry, not AI. The back marker is going to be pretty important here as well. If DuPont and Faustin both get DRS, it's pretty much over here. Panis gets passed by both cars there. That's not good. And I think the Jaguar might pull away now as a result of that. Faustin, I don't think he's going to get DRS on this lap because they're going to pass them earlier. Much earlier. That outrage is very, very, very slow.
So what we need is another disconnection for Singapore in the closing laps. Really spice up the results. Although, well, DuPont could end up winning this from 20th on the grid, which is frankly ridiculous. PK's issue is he's quicker than the 3 cars ahead, but he doesn't have DRS, so he can't catch them. That's his problem. But Villeneuve and Sagdi are both using boosts, so they look like they might be coming to aid him.
I'm just trying to get Villeneuve in the best position as he can, really. It's a last-ditch effort to try and get points with him. It's not going to work, though. I should have let him through in here, really.
DuPont takes the lead on lap 55. So this could end up cycling out very nicely for Alonso.
So PK wants to close on this group.
And here goes Sagdiev coming with PK.
I'm just going to have to try and get Villeneuve in some DRS as much as I can, really. It's the end.
Honestly, I'm just trying to get PK off my mind for the last lap. I'm just trying to get him.
I have to stay in DRS.
So Alonso is not clear of DuPont, so that's basically his shot at the win over. Either way, given the car he's got, this has been a phenomenal performance from the Triple World Champion.
And it's not in the best position at the moment, really, because he's going to be passed on this last lap by a load of cars if he's not careful. Because he is in front, and I doubt he's going to get a really good gap within this sector. Although,
everybody is closing in on Panis. The gap at the front is very small now. It's very, very small. DuPont has it. DuPont has the win in his grasp. Alonso's not there. He's still behind Faustin.
yeah, I don't really mind that.
There's nothing really that Alonso can do. He doesn't have the boost. He's just not quite there when it comes to he's just third place. I think that's pretty good. DuPont takes his second career win in Bahrain, just ahead of Faustin and then Alonso. And across the line, Williams fourth, Bilic fifth, PK sixth, Panis seventh, Lee, Sagdiev, Smith round out the points. None for McLaren.
So finally, a victory for Singapore after one race in which they could have won last week, if it wasn't for not turning up.
3 drivers on the podium for the first time this season.
Has that ever been a podium? DuPont, Faustin, Alonso?
No, never has been.
No. That's a new one. Well, anyway, next round will be, what is it?
Spain.
And that's on Saturday. It's not Saturday, Sunday, sorry. At 3 p.m.